Hey, what's up, guys? It's Corey here with Dapper Dollars, and today we're going to go over the December 2020 income report. You ready? Let's get started. So, this channel is all about using the print-on-demand platforms like Merch, Etsy, Redbubble, and things like that to create income for ourselves, invest this income, and create financial freedom for ourselves and our families in the future. If that sounds like something you're interested in, like and subscribe, and let's get started. So, this month was a killer month for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people are very excited that we got to have this. And number one, people were still buying stuff. Number two, Amazon actually increased their fulfillment to make it possible for people to order closer to Christmas and keep those sales flowing in. Now, if you're anything like me, though, or if your experience was anything like mine, a lot of the Christmas shopping was front loaded at the beginning of December. And this is a lot of, how my sales went. A lot of it happened in like the first week and a half. And then it tapered off after the 15th into the 20th and maybe got like 5-10 sales a day. But anyway, it was still a great month. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how much I actually made for the month of December through Merch by Amazon. Now the revenue number is $1,435. That is double what I made last month in November. And what I spent on ads for the month of December is $103. So that leaves me with a profit of $1,322. This is a great feeling. It was a few months ago where I was only making close to $300 just because I'd blown out my ads so much. Last month I only had $60 in ad spend. This month I only had $100 in ad spend out of $1,400 in revenue. So that's maybe around 10% of my 10% of my revenue went to ads. That is a great place to be because that means I get to keep more money to invest more money. So let's talk about what the top sellers were for the month of December. The top selling shirts were ice fishing, craft beer, and billiards or pool. So these were the top three. And if you've been following my channel for any period of time, you know that I mostly design in the spaces of breast cancer awareness, autism awareness, mental health, things like that, and more of awareness spaces. So it is strange that, it's not strange, it's normal that during Christmas time, people give gifts that are related to hobbies. And you'll notice that the number one seller was ice fishing. So what does that tell you about the Christmas season and the winter season? There are things that people gravitate towards that involve being indoors or that are exclusive to a certain season. So just like kayaking shirts might do really well in the spring and summer, ice fishing really takes off during the Christmas season. It begins in the Christmas season and then kind of goes into February. But ice fishing was insane. And actually, let's talk about these shirts, the ice fishing, craft beer, and billiards. These three shirts alone earned me $577 of the $1,322 in profit. So close to a third of what I made total came from just three shirts. That should give you everything you need to know. Ice fishing is definitely a hobby that requires the cold in the winter, and people who give Christmas gifts around a season where people are enjoying this hobby really accentuates something like ice fishing. Craft beer, another hobby that is an indoor hobby. You don't do or brew craft beer outside. So craft beer is an indoor activity during colder seasons. Pool or billiards is an indoor activity. You do not go play pool outside, and so whenever people can't go outside in the northern states like Minnesota, Idaho, things like that, Montana and stuff like that, you go places and you do things that are indoors. So think about this as whenever next year comes around. What are the things that people are going to be forced inside to do? If you can't go outside, what is it that you can do inside that is a hobby that most people like, that you can design for and you can make shirts for people who actually want to do stuff? So winter hobbies are definitely what what came about as far as a realization of what will sell in the future. And this is a great opportunity, as always, to look on the past of what's happened and how to prepare for next year to do even better. So those are the top 3 shirts for the month of December. The runners up or honorable mention was autism awareness, mechanical engineer student, and breast cancer. This is crazy because if you've been following my YouTube channel at all, you know that autism awareness and breast cancer are my 2 top sellers. And those are numbers 4 and 6 as far as where they rank as making money during the month of September. And this goes to show that the month, or not the month of September, I keep saying September, December. The month of December is all about hobbies and winter activities. People give gifts during Christmas because they want to give someone something that relates to what they care about. Things that they care about are generally hobbies and things like that. So next year, whenever you're designing for Christmas, make sure that you are putting tons of hobbies up. And like we talked about in an earlier video, I'll link that video here, just about what we need to, or the main things we need to focus on from the months of March to September. March to September are generally the evergreen months for me. Those are the months where I really focus on what is it that people are doing that are hobbies, that are activities that people do, that people care about to entertain themselves and to find fulfillment in life. This is things like craft beer, ice fishing, regular fishing, and things like this that can be considered hobbies or activities that people care about that most people will likely associate with a person when they're buying them a gift. So whenever we have this opportunity in 2021 to think about what we want to design for Christmas and things like that, and just to have evergreen topics out there so we can make sales year round, make sure that you are including hobbies and things like that, because obviously that will translate to December sales, which is a great time of year to sell stuff. So what am I going to be designing for then from January to March? Well, the first is usually 100 days of school, but 2020 has been the year of just disruption. Everything has been kind of thrown, aside, and we're having to relearn what we want to do. 100 days of school is not doing as well now as it usually does. Usually I have at least 15 to 20 sales for 100 days of school, and shirts are starting to pick up and gain traction and start really ranking in Amazon, and the ads that I put out are starting to do well and they're starting to get traction. But that is not the case this year because 2020 has given us things like the virus and all sorts of other stuff to really throw off how people are doing stuff. And so I've got maybe 10 shirts that I put out this month, and I think maybe 2 of those sold last night actually. December 29th, I sold my first 2 of the 100 Days of School shirts. Usually, like I said, I'm up to like 15 or 20 shirts, and then January it really takes off and I sell, I think last year I sold 70 something of just 70 products of just one design. So it's a little different this year, and I'm still going to create more 100 Days of School shirts, and I'll probably taper that down a little bit and focus more on autism awareness. That's the next thing that I would be designing for, because autism awareness happens in March, and this is going to be a much more likely celebrated situation. March is going to mark the year mark of the 2020 situation that we've been in. And it's going to be probably a lot of people think it's going to be the resurgence of life as normal. We're going to have the new president in place. People are going to be a year into this. They're likely going to be coming out of whatever situation. Life is going to be getting back to normal. There are going to be more normalized things happening. People have a more realistic concept of how to deal with the current situation. And so I feel that autism awareness and autism awareness celebrations are going to be a thing. They're going to be a thing in schools. They're going to be a thing outside of schools. People are going to actually be celebrating this. And it helps that hopefully merch won't shut down the Merch by Amazon platform in March, because that happened last year and it stunk for me just because autism awareness is one of my best sellers, and autism awareness happens in the month of March, and Merch by Amazon shut down in March last year. So that cost me a little bit of money, but Anyway, you live and you learn. It is 2020 still. We're getting used to it, and hopefully this will be us reaching the end of the tunnel, and March of 2020 next year, we will be able to celebrate autism awareness, and at least that's what I'm preparing for. And the next one that I'm going to be looking for, this one not as heavily as 100 Days of School or Autism Awareness, the next next topic that I'm going to be designing for is Anti-Valentine's Day. And this is a topic that I really love to design for. I'm a very sarcastic person. I enjoy being funny and kind of taking the opposite, contrarian point of view on something and expanding on that. And so Valentine's Day is all about, people who love each other, expressing everything like that. And I do love people. I do love my wife. I do love my family, and I do appreciate Valentine's Day. But it's always fun just to have a little bit of fun with these holidays and do something outside the norm. So Anti-Valentine's Day is something that I really enjoyed last year. I made a few shirts. I think one of them said, it was like the green candy heart that said dead inside or something. And I loved doing just these really off-the-wall, unexpected Anti-Valentine's Day shirts. So I'm looking forward to doing that again. And that is the last topic that I'll be focusing on between the months of January and March. So that's what I'll be designing for March, January through March. I'm getting tongue-tied. Pancreatic cancer. This is a topic that we talked about have been talking about for a while. And this month, for the month of December, I sold 19 pancreatic cancer awareness designs. 5 of them were sold through ads. So that means that I am now 1/3 dependent on ads. And it really is getting to a point where I can shut off the ads. And I think I've got maybe 15 products that I've designed for pancreatic cancer awareness. I think maybe 4 have sold. And so now I've got, at least in December, 19 designs sold. And this is a great thing to have for me, just because that means that I can continue to build on this. And once Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month happens in November next year, I'll have a lot of established designs ready to go. And so if you are just now joining this channel and you're seeing this for the first time in this update on the pancreatic cancer awareness niche, what I've done is in past videos I have shown how I get into these niches. First I just walk through why I go after seemingly saturated niches like pancreatic cancer awareness. Just go through my videos and find out what I did in the past, and maybe I'll do a dedicated video in the future about what the exact steps that I did, and recapping all of those videos into one video to show you how I take over saturated niches like pancreatic cancer awareness. So comment below if you want to see that video where I walk through exactly how I get into bigger niches like pancreatic cancer awareness, and talk about the exact steps that I took this year to to establish myself in a saturated niche like pancreatic cancer awareness. So now let's talk about the real reason we do what we do, which is stocks. Stocks have been a great time for me. I really enjoyed it. This last month the account was worth $43.73. This month, my account is worth $5,123, and you can see all the stocks I own here. And last month, my portfolio balance was negative 6%. This month, it is now positive 6% total gains, and so that is a great feeling. I am out of the hole. I'm now on the uptrend. That doesn't mean that I won't dip back down. Obviously, there are a few stocks that are holding me back as far as, the overall account value, but it is a great thing that it is up now. And so there are definitely a few stocks that had a huge hand in this. Dropbox and Vuzix. I talked about Vuzix in my last income report, and this Vuzix stock has doubled. I think it doubled in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to buy Vuzix. I saw Vuzix tank after an income report and some news came out, and I think it dipped down to around $3, $4, and so I bought in there in at least 2 different stock accounts that I have, and it doubled, and it just really did a great thing for me, and I am still bullish on Vuzix. I'm not one of those people who just, looks to get into a stock and then once I make some money on it, sell out. I want to get into a stock and I'm only going to buy this stock if I truly believe in the company for the long term. So Vuzix is one of those companies I believe in the long term. I did a video on that as well. I'll link it here, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go to 15 or 20 this year. So it's got a lot of room left to run, and I think that I'm going to get at least 300% out of this stock, and I'm excited. It's going to be a great time, going to be interesting to see what the market does. And Hyliion, if you notice that Hyliion is one of the stocks that actually the stock that is a huge anchor for my portfolio. Right now, I think I'm down $600 on this position. I've got at least a third or half my money in just that stock alone. I am still bullish on Hyliion. I still love Hyliion as a long-term investment. I think everything that has happened as far as Hyliion's news and PR that's come out, it is not anything that has fundamentally shaped the company. It is just stuff that people are saying about the company and a lot of speculation around the EV space, the electric vehicle space. And I don't think it's anything that's really going to damage Hyliion massively in the future. I think that they have a great plan going forward. I think Thomas Healy is a great CEO, and it's going to be a positive experience in the long term. But for right now, I just have to look at the fact that I'm down $600 and wait, because that's really all I can do. Aemetis is another one that I invested in last month, and that one I think is up around 40%, so that's a great feeling. And Dropbox was a huge investment, and it's starting to get a little bit of recognition. A lot of people have slept on Dropbox, honestly. They haven't really seen Dropbox for the potential that it has, which is number one, cloud storage. Number two, they have their workspace for people who are, a lot of people use Dropbox as at least in our business we do. And the place where I work, we have a lot of people in the same Dropbox, and now they have their workspace. So everyone who has projects and things that they're working on can put those projects into Dropbox as well, where they share files, and it puts everything in one spot. And they also have HelloSign, which is the second largest e-sign document company in the world. I think DocuSign is the number one, HelloSign is the number two, and they're owned by Dropbox. And just the fact, and so since Dropbox's main value proposition is that they're a data storage company, online data storage company, and the fact that files are only getting bigger. If you look at how the files have grown just over time, like before, whenever floppy disk first came out, Bill Gates was famous for saying that we would never be able to fill up a 2 gigabyte flash drive. Now we have terabyte flash drives, and those things are also being stored online. So Dropbox's main value proposition is that you have to pay for their service beyond a certain data usage limit. And since files are only getting bigger, that means that people are going to have to pay to use Dropbox in the future. Current users that are on there are going to have to pay, and people who come onto the platform are going to have to pay. So that means that Dropbox's revenue is only going to go up in the future. That means the company is only going to be profitable, and since it's a recurring income thing, so people pay monthly to use Dropbox, and people don't really shift who they use for their online data storage because it's a lot of work, Dropbox is going to be a cash flow machine, and I believe that one is going to at least 10x over the next 10 years. So hold on tight, and this is all speculation. This is just me saying this. This is just a guy on YouTube. I am not a financial advisor. Everything I've said before this, you need to consult a true financial expert on, and someone who is paid to handle your finances. Don't just listen to me. Consult someone who is a professional before making any financial decisions. Disclaimer over. Anyway, that's my income report for December. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I can't wait to hear about what you have done in the comments below. So leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know where you're at, where you're planning on being, what you're looking forward to in 2021, and we'll just rock through this together. And it's going to be great, and we're going to make it through, and it's going to be an even better year next year. So just remember, guys, someone is going to do something amazing every day. Why not you? See ya.